It's not the absence of fear or doubt, but the confidence in being able to deal with whatever comes that sets successful people apart from those who give up before reaching the end. And that's why it's a life skill to learn how to stop being afraid of failure, how to stop what might happen, keep us from finding out what's possible for us right now. What if things do work out? If you never fail, you are only trying things that are too easy and playing far below your level. If you can't remember any time in the last 6 months when you failed, you aren't trying to do difficult enough things. That's the take on failure, which makes it less a reflection of our knowledge, capability, smartness, and more what it really is, the result of a set of actions. When we start seeing failure more as a coded message to tell us what's needed to bridge the gap between where we are right now and where we want to be, it becomes more of an enabler than something holding us back. It's about appreciating the effort instead of focusing on the conclusions we draw from any failure. Because when we appreciate the effort, it becomes more of an accomplishment, an indicator that we are trying to do something new, be something more. To stop holding back because of what might happen, to stop being afraid of failure, it's important to refocus, shift our attention from what's worrying to what we want. In other words, stop overthinking, keeping our focus on what reaching the end line would mean to us. All those what might happen scenarios, the dangers our mind can imagine, triggers our sympathetic response, the fight, flight, freeze response. If you have ever heard scary campfire stories or watched a violent movie, you would know how real this feels. The parasympathetic response is the rest and digest calming system, and when we keep practicing taking failures or mistakes as pit stops on our learning curve, distancing failure from the idea that it's harmful for our survival, we connect it more to the parasympathetic response, the calm response. Essentially, we stop being afraid of failure. Before going to the next one, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Nandita, and I'm on a journey to have a bigger say in how things look in my life. And if that's something you too would like in, then this channel is for you. Sometimes the idea of disappointing those whom we value makes us afraid of failure, and sometimes it's more about what would people think of us, the embarrassment of not being up to par. That fear is anchored more externally, something that's learned and conditioned. Because if we felt the same way when we were learning to walk, talk, eat with a spoon and the rest of it, where would we be now? And even though it might sound a bit far-fetched in some situations, the one holding us back is the fear of rejection, of being excluded. The fear rooted in our deep brain or lizard brain, the one that we subconsciously tap into to know what's safe and what's not. In earlier times, failing, not proving capable, meant being kicked out of the group, isolation, and so a threat to survival. At some level, our brain is still conditioned that way, and so even knowing that external validation shouldn't matter much, it still feels good to be accepted. Instead of letting the fear stop us from taking action, we should leverage it, use it to motivate us to give our best. Fear of failure can be good if we use it to push us to give our best. It's only when it stops us from taking action that fearing failure becomes an issue. And so to stop being afraid of failure because of how it might look, it helps to ask which one means more to us. The satisfaction of accomplishing the thing, or avoiding the temporary discomfort of things maybe not working out. Asking whether it would really be as bad as we are imagining it may be right now. To tone down the stress and anxiety of something we are dreading, use cognitive reframing, challenging and replacing automatic negative thoughts with more helpful and rational ones, like, just because I've had trouble speaking in front of a large group doesn't mean it will happen again. It's a good way to develop our self-regulatory neural pathways, making us better able to regulate the nervous system. Now, if you're finding this helpful, like the video to keep it handy and to make it easier for it to reach other people who might also find it useful. Appreciate that. Another reason for being afraid of failure is uncertainty when trying to do anything new, something we haven't done before. To stop letting this dictate our attitude and energy for approaching anything, we increase the odds of certainty. Instead of hoping that things won't go wrong, we build confidence through plans for if and when things go wrong. Having to deal with uncertainty means we are trying to do something new, something more than we usually do, because We are not okay with stagnation, not okay with missing out on life. And fear is something that's only diminished by taking action and facing it. I have always been afraid of water, deep water. And the only way I knew how to get over it was to learn how to swim, to have a better sense of control, to prove that it wasn't really as bad as I imagined it. Sure, the first time I stepped into the pool, I hyperventilated and my trainer had to talk me out of quitting. And it was funny for everyone else how I came up with new ways of drowning every day, but in the end, it's all worth the effort, especially in summers. Not missing out on life. The kind of intention we set for any situation is driven by what's motivating us. Is it something we want to accomplish, or is it something we want to avoid? And that's what psychologists call approach goals and avoidance goals. We mostly come up with avoidance or prevention goals when expecting something to be unpleasant or difficult, like I don't want to sound unprepared today. Being afraid of failure makes us lose confidence in ourselves. It blurs our focus and we go from wanting to do something to avoiding making a mess. And according to research on goal achievement, looking for problems, trying to avoid nightmares instead of chasing dreams, exhausts our energy faster, makes us feel more tired. The solution is to check what kind of intention are we setting ourselves for any situation. If it's a prevention goal, reframe it as a promotion goal. The way to tell the difference, according to neuropsychologist Dr. Theo Sauersidis, is to notice whether it's a do or a don't thing about facing or avoiding, start or stop, gain or lose. If it's an avoidance goal, reframe it. Instead of saying, I hope nothing goes wrong today, set the intention for, I'll do my best to see that everything works out fine. This takes out fear of failure out of the equation and helps us direct our energy towards focusing on things that are more in our control. But sometimes we simply can't stop worrying about what might happen. Everyone knows where our attention goes, energy flows. And if a big part of what we are doing is worrying about what might happen, how things might not work out, what if things don't work out, then we are going to end up exhausted, stuck exactly where we started. To stop being afraid of failure, we need to start worrying with an end goal to find a solution, focusing on the things within our control and staying prepared with, if this happens, then I will do that. That's called worrying productively, worrying the right way. I go deeper into this with strategies in this video because worrying isn't something that you can flip a switch and turn off at will. So why not instead turn it to good? Why not instead use it to be more confident in our actions and decisions? Think about it. I hope you found this video helpful. Take care and I will see you in the next video.